All right, guys. So welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to take you through step by step of how we use Score App. Score App is a wonderful audience engagement tool, and it helped us go from a struggling women's health startup with absolutely no profitability to a very high thriving community with lots more money, less people, less work. So copy this exact strategy that took us from struggling for funds to becoming oversubscribed. For those that are new to the channel, I'm the CEO at Moonrise. Moonrise is a holistic pelvic health studio for women. I started Moonrise after my wife had a lot of pelvic floor issues together with her, and she was able to solve it without going through surgery or traditional physical therapy that was not effective for her. So we do alternative, holistic pelvic health. For women. And before we did score app and before we did a scorecard, we were basically doing quizzes and we were trying to get people into our funnel, but it didn't work as well because we couldn't deliver hyper personalization and we couldn't scale it. It was scaled, but it was not relevant. And if we had to personalize, it took a lot of time, right? So what we ended up doing was to find Score App, and Score App has literally moved from making us market our product to actually market signals. So what that means is that we don't talk about our product at all. We just get people to be problem aware. So if you go to a room of people and ask them how many of you want to work with your weight, 8 out of 10 are going to say, I want to work with my weight. But if you instead ask the same room, I don't know if you want to work with Pilates, probably 2 out of 10 are going to work with Pilates, right? Because they're not aware of the solution, but they're definitely aware of their problem. So a scorecard really helps you collect market signals and makes people that are problem aware starting to become solution aware that you exist. And since you show them the way, you build trust and credibility, and more likely than not, they pick the person or the organization that gave them that clarity. So the scorecard becomes a very important part of that educational process. You obviously collect data about your prospects. You have a really clean CRM with the right type of leads. I'm going to show you through in this video how we structure the data from scorecard and really work with these leads, because we can ask them specific questions that qualify into our CRM, and based on that, we can really personalize. You can obviously launch products with hype. That's what we do. So when we launch a 12-week program and our cohort-based courses, we wait for our scorecard to get about 500 people, because then we know about 50 people are going to buy at $1,000 a pop, right? And you can get predictable sales cycle, which is really that you want to focus on getting the best quality leads into your scorecard every so often, so you can really build up your supply. So the state of the nation before we did the scorecard was we were overworked, losing money, having unengaged customers, limited value creation, begging for money. And now we're not there at all. We are instead profitable. We're working less than ever. We're in Bali having a great time, and we have fewer staff and more happier customers. So let's walk through step by step how we do this. Are you ready? So let's go step by step on how to set up Score App. So you can find Score App at scoreapp.com, scoreapp.com. It's a pretty nice website. You can see that you can get the landing pages. You can get a quiz, which is basically different types of questions, multiple choice, sliding scale. You can get dynamic results, which is really the key part here, which is where you do personalization at scale. And obviously you get data and analytics, which is also pretty good with their AI feature. I don't use the AI feature a lot because I get a lot more information by taking the data, putting it in a make.com automation with the CSV, using an LLM, and then getting the data out into emails, which I'll show you in a separate video. But basically, the idea here is you can do hyper personalization at scale while providing value at every interaction. So this is unheard of actually, because you either do like personalization with people and some kind of automation that can save some time, or you do like one to many or one size fits all, like this YouTube video is one size fits all, right? But this is one of the first use cases that I really enjoy, where there is clear hyper personalization and there is possibility to scale. So this Score App is actually perfect for any kind of customer. I don't know. I don't like saying things like that. Like every person can be a customer of Score App, but it's one of those use cases where anybody that's running a business and wants to understand their audience should probably use Score App, because you would win a lot by using it. Okay, and let's look at some pricing. They have some pretty nice templates, although I would say that some templates are better than others. Obviously, it's the most obvious comment there. But I would say that their pricing is pretty fair. If you take the monthly plan, it starts at $39 a month and then goes up to $79. This is where I am, $79 a month. And obviously, you can get 20% off if you take the yearly plan. If you're not sure, I'd probably start with a monthly plan and get started from there. But you can also get started with just doing the free stuff, because with the free stuff, you get basically, I think, one scorecard, and you get a limitation number of people that can take the scorecard, which is basically the number of emails you get. So let me just show you the free plan here. Just a second. So with the free plan, you can just get started with just getting a scorecard up and ready, and feeling and trying everything out and making sure this works for you. And then you can decide to pay once you start getting a certain number of leads. So if you look at the scorecards I have, you see that I have the functional pelvic floor scorecard, the GTM scorecard, when can I heal dysfunction scorecard. So this is a scorecard we use after our 12-week program to get people into our membership, because they've done 12 weeks with us and they understand what we stand for and where they are. So then we say, okay, what's your journey from now on? And this scorecard is brilliant because you can really visualize and upsell and really make it clear that they should be part of our membership, right? So I really love this scorecard bit as well. I'm not going to show that to you today because there's going to be a lot more personal information there. We have an assessment, which is sort of a lighter version of this pelvic floor scorecard. So we're doing an A/B test in terms of our ads to see if people, prefer spending 15 or 12 minutes with the scorecard or prefer spending 6 minutes with the scorecard, and what's the quality of leads. And I'd probably give it 3 months and see, what the sales is on the other side, because obviously you will get more leads here, but maybe the quality is not as good, and then that's what we need to compare. And finally, I have a breathing scorecard. So I have 5 scorecards currently. Let's go with my favorite scorecard, or my second favorite scorecard, is how functional is your pelvic floor. And here you can see you have the leads tab, which is where you get all your leads. So we have 1,250 leads, and you can see their score here. Obviously, you can see some people that have not completed the scorecard. And here you can decide, do you want to have their emails first, or do you want them to go through the scorecard and have their emails at the end? And I'll show you how to do that as well. So obviously, if you're going to do that, which is how we've set up this A/B test here, you will see your leads column looks very different, because here you can see, many have not filled in their emails at all, right? So you can obviously get started with the scorecard without filling your email and even complete it. But if you want to get the report, that's when you fill in the email, right? So obviously we need to compare. I've not done that yet for our own business, but this is an opportunity. This is possible. And then the insights is pretty good, because you can see, you can get an overview. Obviously, I'll go back to my other scorecard. So you can get an overview in terms of total leads, how your questions are being answered. But I really like the question performance, because that's when you can really optimize your questions, word them better, so you reduce drop-off rate. So here you can see that the average drop-off is around 2 hours. Oh, what's that? I'm not sure what that is actually. 33% conversion rate, that's clear. Now, if let's look at the question performance, let's see. Yeah. So you can see abandonment rate. So what has stopped you from taking action is a question that's clearly causing some abandonment. But you can see that my prospects here are pretty committed, because the abandonment rate is pretty low, which means the people that come here and put in their email, they really want to get the results, right? And then you can go through the scores, which is a nice visualization of how your overall. And this is an AI feature. So what you can do is click on this AI button, and you can get a press article, a blog post based on that, tweet, a LinkedIn post, which is pretty good. To be honest, I've not used it, because, as I said, I put it in my LLM and have our own make.com automation. And here you can see the last 30 days, or we've got 4,000 visits, 30% start rate, 22% completion rate, 30% sign up rate. It's not too bad. I mean, obviously we can improve that. Let's get started. So why don't we go ahead and start a scorecard? So you can start from scratch. You can pick a template or use the AI setup wizard. So with the AI wizard, I've experienced that it's all right, but it's sort of, I get better results by using my own ChatGPT prompts rather than using these prompts. So you're welcome to give it a try. For this use case, I'm going to start by just picking a template. And again, you have to bear in mind that there are three steps here for the quiz. For the scorecard, you have the landing page, you have the questions, and you have the dynamic results page. So let's start by saying that you're working in sales and marketing. So let's pick a template. Let's see what we have. This quick test helps good marketers get even better. Take your business to the next level, answer 20 questions, and you'll send your person report feedback to your specific needs. It's quick and free. All right, Facebook ads test. Video course. Okay, let's pick a template that feels good. I'll probably take this. This feels good. Are you a resourceful marketer? So let's use this template. And this is pretty good, right? Because you get like off the shelf the questions, the landing page, the questions, and the results page. So let's go into build. We'll go to the landing page here. You'll see there's already a landing page. It was just created a few seconds ago. So let's click on landing page. And here you're going to see that on the left-hand side, you have the different sections. You can obviously toggle them up and down. It's a pretty nice little animation here. Actually, it's pretty good, this animation. Right, so it's a video embed with an image. So it's a GIF. So obviously these things are pretty good, right? Because it sort of gets people's attention. So here you can add a logo. It's really that simple. I like this logo actually, Oasis. You can drop your files here. You can already see that everything, all the assets that are part of this page are already included here in this page. So if you want to add more, you can come here and upload more, or you can click on free images. and search for anything you like. So let's say you want to search for trees. Yeah, then you get a bunch of trees, and you can use them as you wish. Okay, so the gallery function is pretty good, and so are the themes. I would take a minute and make sure that the theme colors are right. So because this is pretty useful throughout the quiz. So if you standardize them on the landing page, it's standardized on the landing page. But you can also go back. I'll show that to you in a bit. You can also go back and set the brand for the whole quiz. So all the 3 pages are unified: the landing page, the quiz questions, and the answers, the dynamic results. But here you can customize the landing page with the fonts. I like these colors actually. They're kind of my colors. So let's go back to the landing page and let's look at the sections. So the lead form is where people put in their email and name. You can customize them here, as you can see. And again, it's really this easy. Enter details below to get started. Below is the scorecard. It's quick. Oops, I'm using my wife's computer that has a Swedish keyboard. Let's see, it's quick and easy to do. And then probably start now. Perfect. So that's done. Then let's go here. Are you a resourceful marketer? Let's say, how scalable is your business? Okay, so that's the quiz I want to go for. How scalable is your business? I'm not sure why it's a little slow. Maybe it's my computer because I'm rendering a couple of videos at the same time. Could be that. But ScoreApp is generally not this slow. Let's see here. Find out in the next 60 seconds just how effective you are, or how effective your business is. Rather, how scale ready is your business. Okay, so perfect. So we have that. You can add some trust building elements here, which are pretty good. Then unlock your marketing potential. Yeah, let's go back to the sections here. It's pretty good actually. The whole section here. Unlock your marketing potential. It's a pretty good template. Well done, guys. Then I'd probably look at adding a section on with some bullet points and what can you expect. So something like take your business to the next level, answer 20 questions, describe business on. Yeah, perfect. This takes 2 minutes. It's completely free. This is perfect. And then I'd probably add an image here that maybe looks like this. Library, free images, report, PDF. Let's see what comes up. Obviously, if you were serious about this, you'd probably want to either use Fiverr and get something designed on Fiverr, or yeah, something like this is good, or use Canva and have a template and just reuse them. So if you look at our quizzes, we have very similar type of images and we use Canva. It works very well. So let's go back, and not sure why it's so slow actually, because I've stopped rendering the videos. Anyway, so we can move this up. It's literally that simple. Okay, so we moved this section up here. How scalable is your business? Take your business to the next level. I think this font is a little too big, so let's reduce the size here. Heading 2 is good, I think. Yeah, perfect. And then this can be heading 3, heading 3, perfect. Okay. Ooh, that doesn't look good. I'll probably change it like this. Heading 2, and receive custom results instantly. Easy to answer multiple choice questions. Easy to answer 20 multiple choice questions. Perfect. So we have I'm pretty happy with the landing page actually. Obviously, you want to have some trust building elements. I'd say the most important thing about these trust building elements is not to talk about your product, but just talk about the scorecard. So make sure that the testimonials are about the value from the scorecard, because people are very far away from buying your product, right? So you want the testimonials to be about the scorecard. And then yeah, I don't think we need the gift, but I would not talk about what is waiting. I just talk about what the scorecard is. This is perfect. So good, then we can save. Obviously, on the left-hand side, you have a lot more section options. I'm not going into the details because they're pretty self-explanatory. So you have videos, you have categories. I'd probably work with the categories because they're pretty important. I generally structure scorecards into categories, with categories, because it feels a lot more structured, and people can say, okay, I'm ranking really well in my value proposition, but ranking really poorly in my repeatable marketing efforts. So I should focus on that. So it's important that you think about the categories of your scorecard, because the categories are also what you would use in the questions. So let's say I'd say team, value prop, marketing, sales, funding, admin. Okay, so these would be the 6 areas we'd mark them, and I'd probably move this section. Let's see, category. Yeah, so these categories are important because you can classify the questions based on these categories as well. Probably move this banner up a little bit more. No, probably not. What is content 4? Yeah, there. All right. So these are the. I probably move this up here. Good. So we have the introduction. This some sort of curiosity evoking question, some trust building elements, why they should do it, some values, how they're going to be scored, a comprehensive yet simple to do scorecard to help scale your business. Okay, it's good. You can obviously customize the icons here. You can do that here. I'm not going to do that in this demo, but you get the idea. And some testimonials. Perfect. So this is good to go. The landing page is good to go. Let's come back to the quiz builder again. All right, now that the landing page is done, we're back to the quiz builder here on the left. Let's go into the questions. So the questions are pretty obviously very important. And my view on questions is there's obviously a couple of questions to be answered about the questions. One is how many questions are good. And I would say this depends on your funnel type. So if you're working cold traffic, you probably want to keep it to below 10. In our case, we do something contrarian with Moonrise. We do the opposite. We don't want to have unqualified leads at all. We want to have cold traffic that are really moving into warm really fast, because we realize a lot of people are in the semi-cold phase for a very long time, and they never leave that phase. And we've never had a good time converting. We've never had good ratios converting from there. So we want to really focus our CRM efforts, everything around our warm leads. So we have like 20 questions. Obviously, you can A/B test this, so you don't have to make up your mind. We are A/B testing it, and I'll get back to you on our results. But our first version that we've been running for about 4 months is purely, a much longer quiz. But if depending on your niche, depending on what you're after, what your goals are, if your sales process is about booking calls, maybe a shorter quiz is good enough. If your sales process is a lot more self-serve, maybe you want to find a little bit more data. I'll leave that to you, but I would say that the most important thing with the quizzes is a couple of things. One is that you have the completion rate below, because it sort of keeps people going. And the second is it's clear, what the categories are, because I would say that sort of, if you've presented the categories in the landing page and people are really excited about a methodology you have. So if I package your categories into a methodology, and if people are really excited about that methodology and get that, and they want to know more about that, then to see that they want to finish that would create much more higher completion rate than if it was just a general quiz with sort of open-ended questions, right? So what I would also do is to go here and add categories. So I'd probably add team, and then you can add an icon. And here is important: add category score total score or do not affect total score. I usually add category total score, because what you can do is obviously present a holistic picture, and then you can break down the categories, right? But you can also obviously, for instance, if you're asking a Cinderella question, which is, do you have money? You don't need to add that to the total score. You can just add that. It doesn't have to affect the total score, because you can argue that the lead quality and their answers could be slightly different parameters. So how good a lead is for your business is your internal metric, whereas their score is their metric. So I like to separate it that way. So you can write a description how good your teamwork is. Okay, good. Let's go. So let's create. Then we do the same. So team, value prop, create, sale, marketing. You get it, right? So you can create the 6 categories. And then here you have the sections. Sections are basically the progress bar here, the footer. If you want to have a footer below, I've hidden it, and a header. But obviously you can have a footer if you want to have like a privacy policy or copyright or whatever. Here is the theme. If you've done the theme in the overall scorecard page, it gets carried over here. But otherwise, you can also customize it just for the questions page. And then the questions views, do you want it to be grouped by category or list? Usually, if it's like a linear quiz, I like to group it by category. If it's a list, you can do that too, or you can change the order. This is interesting. This I guess is for quiz types that are a little bit more focused on like being a quiz, like in school quiz, that you have a right and a wrong answer. In case of lead generation, lead nurturing, I would probably not think about it. But again, it's a good place to educate your prospects, right? So again, I've never used it. Now, what you can do over here is the beauty is on the right hand side. So you can obviously have different types of questions, sliding scale, divided scale, and so on. You can have info screens. Then you click on answers, and here is where it gets exciting. So you can say, okay, if they answer yes, give the team, if they answer yes, give the team 10 points, right? So I'm just going to move this down. Give the team 10 points. If they answer no, give the team 1 point or 0 points. And then you can keep adding categories. So you can take a question and break it down into multiple categories, right? So this is pretty good. And then once you have that, you can obviously go through the questions, you can delete them, you can add different types of questions. So these are all multiple choice questions, but you can also make it sliding scale. I do a lot of sliding scale questions. How happy are you with your current revenue growth. And then you can obviously have a sliding scale, and then you can label the sliding scale, not at all, somewhat ecstatic, right? Ecstatic. And then you can make it, do you want this to be a percentage scorecard, or like you can see it's like 100% or 0 to 10, right? So again, these are pretty good things. You can save this. Okay. So I'm going to leave the questions there. Basically, I've shown you how to create questions, different types of questions, creating categories for questions, and then showing the starting score, or like doing the scoring range, which is really the most important thing to get your dynamic answers going. You can also have instructions here. And yeah, so the answers part is the most important you think about. So before you get into your questions, I would really recommend you to think about your categories and think about how you want to position the questions related to the categories versus your overall score. Obviously, I'm going to show you a couple of my scorecards so you actually see real life examples, but I want to finish off by showing you the result page. So the result page is basically where the magic happens. And again, you'll find it to be very similar to the landing page, but the only difference here is that you can really show dynamic results. And let me show you what I mean by that. So here you can say, okay, let's add a section where we show them the overall score, and you can see you have beautiful overall scores. I like the speed chart because it sort of is very visual. And so you can say, you can move this to the top, you can add whatever text here, and here you can see that you have something called dynamic content. And when you enable that, you can say, show the score based on the overall score. And you can say, is it a low score, medium score, high score? I'm going to show you where to customize these labels. But basically, you can decide to show it either way you like. You can just say everybody gets the same view, and you just show them the overall score. That is the dynamic part here. Or you can really make it dynamic based on what the overall score is and what you show, right? Then let's go back to other sections. If you want to add one more section here, which is, I always like to add the category score, or like the highest category score or something. So here, if you look at this, so you can see the description follows along, and you can see, how this is done. Obviously, I added only 3 categories. That's why you see 3, but you can show them percent. You can show them as an actual score. Actual score is a little confusing. I do it either out of 10 or like percent, which I really like. And then obviously you can add the text here. And this is where the beauty is. Again, you want to make this dynamic, right? Because then you can really personalize. So if somebody's on low, what's the feedback you want to give them? What's the value you want to give them? This is a perfect place to add value, right? And then the third section I'd probably add is some kind of call to action. So there's a call to action here. So again, I'd make this dynamic. So if you ask a question about budget and they have low budget, maybe you don't want to spend time booking calls with them, right? You don't want to work with people that you should sort of nurture and get them ready. So I would really make the call to action dynamic. So again, overall score or the budget score. So here's where you can ask like the Cinderella questions. What's your budget? What's your urgency? And put a score on it that they don't see, only you see. So what you can do obviously here is, let me show you that quickly. So here, if you want to have your category score, and let's pretend one of them is the budget score, right? You can come here and say, actually don't show the budget score, and it's not going to be shown to the customer, but you get that data, right? So it's very nifty. Yeah, and I'd probably definitely make the call to action dynamic, and then I'd add some kind of testimonials at the end. So this would be a perfect, dynamic results page to start with. There's also the PDF report section, which is included in the advanced plans. I've used it once. It's very useful, but the result page does 90% of the job, unless it's like you're selling really enterprise specific quizzes and you're really spending time customizing the PDF reports. I wouldn't probably bother about it. If you come to settings here, this is where you can really go into the details of the custom domain. If you want to hide and show the Score App logo. Some of them are not included in the startup plan. So the custom domain, for instance, I think is not included in the startup plan. Please take a look. Here's where you can do the branding. This is important if you really want your quiz to be shared. The lead form, how you want to customize it, what kind of questions you want to ask, what's obligatory, and so on. Score tiers, yeah, this is where you can say, I want everything 0 to 30 to be called low, and then you'll see low in the results page, right? The result email, how do you want the result email to go? So pretty straightforward. You can call variables here, which is right here. So it's pretty good in terms of options. So you can add the name, you can add the scorecard name, result button, all the different scorecard answers. And you can do this, you can add these variables in result pages too, which I'll show you again. Then the abandoned mail is a very useful feature, obviously, if they've put in their email and they've not completed. And tracking is for, adding your scripts. So if you come back to the results page, let me just show you how to call a variable. So let's say you want to say, hey, John, and John is the name of your lead, right? You want to make this very personal. You simply take this here, take the lead, take the first name and say, John, you're missing out, right? Yeah, let's see. Lead name, first name. Yeah, you're missing opportunities. Yeah, perfect. John, you're missing opportunities, right? And this will always be filled because they can't start the quiz without giving you their name, right? Or they're going to give you their name before they get into the results page. So you can bet on this always being right as long as they enter it right? So yeah, so you can again call variables here. You can say, I see that your score, and then you can call a variable like the highest score, highest category name is excellent, while there is work to be done in, and then you can call the lowest category score, right? And so on. So the variables are very useful, and obviously there's sort of a what you see, what you get editor here. You can add the results button here. You can change details. So it's pretty straightforward if you ask me. And off the box, you get pretty good templates. I'd really think about the structure of your quiz, the purpose of your quiz, and how you nurture people after. That would be the real key things to do. And once you do that, your quiz is ready to be published. So let me actually take you through my actual quiz, which is, I'll probably show you the how functional is your pelvic floor. You guys have probably already seen the landing page. So let me show you. I've created two different result pages. I did some A/B testing, and then this is the main results page I have. So here I have a video. It's a dynamic video. So based on the score, I have a slightly different video that again makes it feel very personal, right? Then we make a clear liability that, listen, this is a person. This is done online. It's not personal. It's personal, but not very personal. So if you're not sure, write to us. And then here's your heel score. This is the category definition. This is how we present it, that you're going to get your heel score, and then we divide this up right into dynamic content. So if you look at the holistic part here, you can see that there's low. Click on moderate, you see it's slightly different. There's a slightly different playlist of exercises. And if it's high, it's very different. You don't get any exercises, right? And we just say go below and you'll find more. So, and then I want to show you the Cinderella part. So this is when we ask them the budget question. And if it's low, we say, listen, try these exercises. If it's medium, we say book a one-on-one consultation. If it's high, we say book a one-on-one consultation too, right? Because we don't have a cohort right now that we're selling to. But if you had an active cohort that we're going to start selling to, I would open this up and say, we're starting up now. You have 3 days, get going, and put a timer, right? And then it really converts, because when we have sales open, this bit, it really converts well. And then I have some testimonial and then some FAQs at the end. And if people have a question, they can get in touch with us. So this is the scorecard setup. Now I want to quickly show you what I do once somebody fills their scorecard, how I segment them in my CRM and what happens from there. So all right, so we use Zapier to automate the data from scorecard, a score app to CRM. We also have a make.com automation. I'm going to show that as a separate video because it's a lot more complicated to go through that in detail today. But today I just want to quickly show you that once we get a lead, we move them into a Zap. So let me find that Zap. So we have different Zaps here, and this is going to be the score app Zap. So what happens is that we have a very simple score app assessment to Brevo Zapier, which basically takes the data from the quiz. And now I want to show you the kind of data you get, because this is where you can really start segmenting your CRM and really becoming a lot more personal in the CRM side. But obviously, if you add make.com and add more AI workflows on top of it, you put it on supercharge. As again, I'll show that in a separate video. But what you can see is that you get a bunch of data here, right? And you can see that you get the UTM, which is really good. You get the full report, which means that you can actually use this report and the URL for the report, which by the way is a public URL, the result URL. So anybody can get it. So you have to handle it with care, especially when we work with health. You don't want to mess it up because people have given their personal information and how they're feeling and their symptoms. So you want to be clear on how you use it. So in our case, we put it in the emails in our CRM. And then here you can see the actual total score, the percentage score denominated out of 10, the different categories, in this case, the symptom score, the holistic score, and so on, empowerment, align, liberate, urgency of help, and budget score. And these are things I find interesting. So based on the urgency of help, if it's low and the budget is low, they're not probably our best lead, right? So if you imagine a 2x2 and you say, okay, budget is high, urgency is high, they're probably the most ready to convert. And then obviously you have a falling scale from there. And what I try to do is to get all this data into my CRM, right? And then I use Brevo, and Brevo is wonderful. I've tried ActiveCampaign, I've tried ConvertKit. I've never really enjoyed the user interface as much as I've done with Brevo. And it's pretty cost effective for a lot of emails. So I put them all in different variables. So you can see here that I have, let's see. So I have the age variable, I have the why Moonrise variable, like why did you decide to join us, or why are you doing this, the total score assessment, the urgency score, the holistic score, and so on. And once I have this, I can go into Bravo, and then I can create automations and rules based on their answer. So I can first of all call their total report in my email, so it feels like we're talking with them. So let me find the assessment automation. So if you look at the assessment automation, you will see that we use the variables from that we passed by as Zapier into the emails, so it feels very personal. So here you can see if the budget score is less than 6, do this, do that, right? And then within these emails, you can call different variables and make it very personal. So this is how we use ScoreApp to get people into our database. And once they get into our database, we do an email sequence or nurturing sequence. And then once we have enough people in our that have gone through the assessment and in our waiting list, we open up sales. And sales typically last 3 days. And we get 500 people into our waiting list and who have done the assessment. We know about 50 are going to buy for $1,000 a piece, right? So we wait till we get 500 people and then open up our spots. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I want to summarize by saying, what are the principles for a good scorecard? The first one is being focused on problem awareness rather than solution awareness. So what I mean by that is that you really want to focus on helping people understand and be aware of their problem, because most people know what their problems are, what their needs are, and you want to shed light on that and slowly move them into the solution world. And when you move them into the solution world, obviously the one that shows them that path has the highest credibility, and that's what a scorecard can do for you. You evoke curiosity, that's number two. So you really don't want to be on their face trying to sell a product at this stage. You really want to evoke curiosity and build trust. You want to provide value in the results, and that's why the dynamic results page is super important. You can customize every block, as I've shown you in the video, with dynamic results. You can provide a lot of value in those results, even if that means giving away free resources. It's the best thing to do. Be clear in your offer or next steps. So before you design your scorecard, just have a think on what are the Cinderella questions. So what are the questions that will really shed light on who your real prospects are that are highly qualified, and who are the prospects that you need to nurture further. And based on that, you can really think about your offer. I wouldn't, for instance, have book a call plastered everywhere, because you don't want to be spending time or salespeople's time on prospects that are not ready. Instead, you move them into a group setting, like a group call or a webinar that's pre-recorded, and so on. And finally, keep testing, whether that's a longer scorecard, shorter scorecard, slightly different angles of problem awareness. The second scorecard after the first scorecard, that's what we're trying right now, where somebody's finished the first scorecard, we know their results, we take that and we move them into a second scorecard, which gives them a little bit more solution awareness. So you can really build your journey here. And remember that it takes, the 7-11-4 principle and the supply demand principle that I speak about in one of these videos that will be linked here. So the 7-11-4 principle that Daniel speaks about, that he quotes from Robin Dunbar, is that it takes 7 touch points, 11 hours, and 4 platforms. And a scorecard is a great way to start building that and starting to shrink that 7-11-4 equation. And the second is supply demand. When you start really doing a scorecard well, and in the results page you say, listen, I am super busy, I can only take in 5 customers, there are 50 people doing the scorecard right now, if you're really interested, book a call. To those that are really ready to do it, then your conversion is going to be a lot more higher, right? So that's the transparency of supply demand, where you're clear about your limited supply and the higher demand, and you're moving people into that funnel. So if you like videos like this, please like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.